going to lay out a claim. Joe Biden and his mental faculties are nowhere to be seen, especially after 8 o'clock at night. I was watching Tim Pool's podcast last night with Steve Bannon, and he basically, and it was a short little thing that he said, it was about Joe Biden. He goes, why is Joe Biden doing pressers at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? Why not at 8 o'clock? Why not do it at 8 o'clock where people on the East Coast are home, and the people on the West Coast are either at home or coming home from work? You would think that you could get the message out a little better instead of having the mouthpieces that CNN, MSNBC, and other alphabet news agencies would put it out. You'd think that. At least you'd think that. Perhaps even at 9 o'clock, so it would be 6 o'clock in the afternoon, or in that night on the West Coast. Any time other than 3 o'clock in the afternoon would be better, because on the East Coast, people are at work. On the West Coast, people are maybe at lunch. They're not watching TV for the most part. So what gives? A lot of times during this Potatoes administration, his alleged administration, they put a lid on his day. They'll say, 9 o'clock, he's not going to do anything. He's going to be taking phone calls from world leaders. Right. So this begs the question. If he's all the way there, and he's 100% with it, why isn't he not talking at 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night? The real reason behind that possibly is that he's so far gone, mentally speaking, as far as dementia, is that he can't function after sundown. I think they call it sundowning, where in the mornings they're pretty awake and they're with it, and then later in the day they just, no matter how much adrenochrome and whatever steroids you pump into this son of a bitch, isn't going to work anymore. Now, I'm not a doctor, but I did see my grandmother, she had a, what they would call like a silent stroke or transischemic, where you didn't know, and she was full of ill health, and she would constantly repeat same old stories. She was okay in the morning, but later in the day, it was a mess. And, she had a bad back, and she just wasn't with it compared to when I was a younger, when she was, up and taking all myself, my brother, and all the other cousins to, the park or whatever. And she was with it completely, 100%. When she watched LA Dodger baseball games, she was, up on, she didn't like Democrats very well. The point being is that later in her life, when she had obvious dementia, she was very irritable. At night, she would go to sleep at, 5 o'clock at night. It didn't matter. She would just go in her room and that would be it. And that's what I kind of see with this piece of human trash right here. Joe Biden is not with it. He can come out and spew a few words together, through the help of a teleprompter. But why isn't he doing it late in the afternoon, at night, where people can actually see what he's saying, instead of getting piecemeal bits and pieces of what the news media determines what's important for the rest of us to digest? And I think you know why. Right now, our news media, now they can't necessarily cover for him for all this bullshit that's going on in Afghanistan. They can't. It's criminal, honestly, what he's doing. He done fucked up. He had a perfectly good plan. They said, nope, we're gonna get away around September 11th, so I can make this monumental for the world at the 20-year anniversary. But then the Taliban sort of took over everything and fucked that all up. The Taliban said, by the way, I don't care if you're CIA guys here. He can go fuck himself. You're leaving on August 31st, or else. And we're already into the or else period. Matter of fact, they pretty much closed the airport down, technically. You have Glenn Beck over there somewhere in the Middle East trying to get people out. The State Department stopping people, according to sources that I've read, with blue passports and documents to get into the United States or another foreign country. The State Department, our State Department right now, is stopping people who have blue passports, by the way, that says United States of America passport, from getting on planes and getting the fuck out of Dodge. Why? I don't have a good answer why. Perhaps the Taliban told the CIA director, basically like, we're not going to let anybody else go. Now, if they get around us, so be it. But we're not going to let you take more of our citizens out of the country. And I think that's more possibly towards the truth than anything. Because Joe Biden is fucking weak. Weak leaders don't instill fear in other people. Now, when Trump was out there, people not only feared him, but they respected him. Maybe they didn't like him, but they respected him because they knew that he wasn't going to put that up with their bullshit. This sack of human trash right here, he's got no morals. He's got no moral compass. He blows whichever the wind blows. He goes, Who's running the show after 5 o'clock? Because I don't know where the fuck he's at. You think he's taking a phone call at 5 o'clock when he's getting pumped full of steroids just to keep him awake, to sign documents that he probably can't see? Is this where we're at? Who the fuck is running shit right now? I have no clue. And boys and girls in Lazaland, this is where we're at. We got a guy, obviously can't run the country, obviously not with it, does press conferences at 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and then hides. Have you seen him do an interview past 5 o'clock, 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night? No. At least with Trump, he was on the toilet tweeting at 12 o'clock in the morning. Guy never slept. You know he was doing something. Yeah, albeit it's me in tweets. But you know he was doing something. He was with it. Maybe didn't like the words that were coming out of his mouth. Maybe didn't like his actions. But at least you knew he was at the helm of the ship. Always. What about this son of a bitch? How many times has he gone to Delaware? Apparently 18 times. Why is he going to Delaware? Is it because he's more familiar with that? Because that's where he lived most of his life? Now you're saying, well, he lived in the Naval Observatory for those. Yeah. The point being is that what gives? Can we not ask that question? I think we should. That's a valuable question to ask. What is he doing? Who's running the show? We don't know. We just don't know. And that goes to show you that you morons out there, normies and leftist douchebags, who voted for the son of a bitch to be president, it's your fucking fault. I hope to God that you don't have family members or friends over there that are not being let onto planes or even the airport to get out of there. Because you voted for this, you lefty douchebags, you normie assholes out there who say, I don't like main tweets. Get them out. And so you got this son of a bitch in. Are you happy now? I think a lot of you idiots are. I'm not happy, obviously. I did my part trying not to get this son of a bitch voted in. But apparently, you couldn't let things be. You had to say, we want this idiot in. And guess what? And reap the whirlwind. Because you really think right now that the Taliban taking over Afghanistan that's it, game over, and that's it, and we'll just, go on with our lives? You really think that at some point, possibly in the near future, we're not going to go back in there? Or even we're not going to do covert operations? That was our playground for 20 years. Do you really think that it's not going to happen? I guarantee it. In the near future, we'll be back in there in some capacity. Such as when the Northern Alliance was there, when they only owned and occupied 10% of Afghanistan. You're going to have another alliance there trying to fight against the Taliban. And I fear that it'll possibly be another Afghanistan Part 2. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe so. But ask yourself, those new freedom fighters in Afghanistan fighting against the Taliban, do you think they're going to trust us? Why would they trust us? We didn't fucking let them out to dry. In closing, who's running this place? I don't know. Ask yourself this question. Why is Biden doing press conferences at 3 o'clock in the afternoon? You definitely don't hear from him after 5. And he barely takes questions. No, pre-approved questions from water-carrying news organizations. Just ask yourself.